Well, good morning, guys. It's Tuesday morning and we're back for another week. This is the Senate Ag Committee. And the first thing I thought we would chat about is those 25 or so organic farms that are going to be switching from Organic Valley, from Horizon to Organic Valley and Stonyfields. And we did get a report earlier from Diane from the Agency of Ag in regards to some things that some of these farmers, and there wasn't a lot, but there was 4 or 5 farms, 5 farms needed to do one thing. 2 farms had to do, instead of using stanchions, they require more like a freestall with a chain and a collar. And some needed their driveways widened so bigger trucks could get back in to pick the milk up. And some, there was a couple that, or 3 that are on everyday pickup that they thought that they may have to switch to a bigger tank so they could have every other day pickup. The only other way they could do that is cut down on the number of cows and only milk half as many. And then they'd be on everyday pickup. I doubt if that would go very well. Now, most of these farms are small operators that we all enjoy having in our neighborhoods and participating in ag. So we did get a price this morning. I thought yesterday she said she had to do a bunch of more work, and back of the envelope figure this morning came through at 500,000, and I presume that she's talking about the total cost. And I didn't know if, I thought we ought to visit about a cost sharing type deal where, the farmer would put some in and we would help them to get these updates made. And have a little discussion on that. We have a witness coming in at 11 in regards to neonics and things of that nature. So, and yeah, Brian.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just curious, because it's a while ago since Diane was with us. There's 25 organic farms. Are they all going to need something? Or you mentioned the 5 that possibly could do some work on the stanchions and all. And I'm sure that, well, from what I'm remembering, it wasn't clear whether some of those farms could need all of that. In other words, the bulk tank, the driveway, and the stanchions, or just some of it. But I think you raised a good point. Obviously, if I'm remembering right, the bulk tanks were the most expensive item on it.
Yeah.
Second to the driveway, and then the other ones aren't that much with the rail and the collars. So do we have any idea how many of the 25 are going to need help? And then I guess we got to figure out what the share should be. Should it be an even split? Should it be 60-40? I don't know what the answer is, but certainly we should talk about it.
I had down that 2 farms, 2 of the group need larger tanks, or 2 of them have everyday pickup.
Okay.
I had 2 farms, 2 still have the stanchion type hookups in their barns. And but it was all, this was just notes I took. And I was hoping that Diane, I mean, that was quite a while ago, we
Yeah, 2-3 weeks
talked
ago.
about this.
I thought she was gonna get back to us about that question as to whether or
Wow.
not it's a couple of farms that need a lot, or a lot of farms that need a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, they didn't all need something.
Right.
There was maybe half a dozen.
okay.
But to answer your question, I don't know if one of them needs a tank, a driveway, and the stanchion thing. Our barn at home, my dad and my brother switched over because that was built in 59 or 60, had stanchions. But to switch that over to the collars and the chains, I mean, you just took longer to take the stanchions out than it did to bolt the pipe up along the front
Yeah,
and hook the chains. It wasn't an expensive deal. And they did it back then just to make it more relaxing for the cows to be able to move around them. So I was
Bobby,
hoping, yes, Chris.
could I just ask, do we have any, my understanding was the assistance we put into budget adjustment was not fully subscribed. So do we have some of that money left over that we could shift to this?
That would be my second choice if we, I think, well, we don't know, but we know 75% signed up, and even if you take all the big ones and the medium ones, you still aren't at 75% yet. And the big ones would have taken, their full share of the 5 million pounds, certainly. A couple of mediums would hit that 5 million pound cap, but then the rest were going to be in between, and we haven't got an accounting on that. But what I was thinking is, depending on the availability of money, could always see that's going to be good for all starting July 1. No, we put it in a budget adjustment, so it would just get carried forward in next year's money. And if things didn't look good, we could continue that program next year if there was still money sitting there. But if we can't get any new money to help this crew here, I would certainly be willing, and want to take the balance of that money and put it toward this, because these guys have got to get this work done. And, we've got another day and another year to wrangle over whether we want to fund that insurance program another year. So, yeah, if there's money sitting around that we can get without a bloodbath, I'll get new money. But I'm glad you're home.
I tested positive this morning. This is
Yeah,
not a dress rehearsal.
That was a COVID sneeze right there. I can feel it coming right off the screen.
I thought it was one of the kids.
And as of this morning, it's me.
You,
Well, kids are good carriers.
I got it.
Yeah, you don't feel bad though, Chris?
No, not too bad. I didn't sleep well, which is one of the symptoms, I guess. So I was pretty sure I had it. And, I had to be home all week because of the kid anyway. So
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess you're gonna be, is your wife moved out on you? Do you have to quarantine?
well, yeah, I guess the rules are till Sunday anyway, but we'll see. My kid it's the 8-year-old who tested positive yesterday. She was already starting to feel better. So hopefully it's
Oh, right.
you know,
Yeah, that's good news then. Yeah, so anyways, getting back to this, you know,
Well, the only thing I can think is, from a fairness point of view, if I was one of the organic farms that didn't need anything, because I'd already spent my money to make some of these improvements, you want to find some equity there. If there's others that still do, I agree with you. I don't think necessarily the state should give them 100% of it, because, well, it wasn't fair for me. I spent my own money to do it. But I don't know what the right ratio is. Now, you say that, but on the other hand, if it's a farm that needs 2 out of those 3, not including the stanchion issue, that's a substantial amount of money, even if it's a 50-50 split for one farm to absorb. So
oh, yeah.
I don't know what the right answer is there, but
Yeah, well, we don't want any of these guys leaving
Right.
because they can't afford to do this.
Right.
Or feel that it's a waste of money. I mean, a lot of people worked a lot of hours to develop this new market, and in both Organic Valley and Stony Fields, I think it's gonna be around for a long time. And it's too bad we didn't have more organic farmers. So you think we ought to think a little bit about a cost sharing type?
yeah, I think that's,
Maybe we should talk to somebody like Conservation Board about how they do cost sharing. There's other organizations that do cost sharing a lot. They deal with it a lot. Maybe we could learn something from the Housing Conservation Board or somebody like that, like Gus Siegling, or somebody who might just know what's fair cost sharing. So I don't have any idea either, you want to say 50-50, but I don't know if that makes any sense. Just not sure what the common, practice is when it comes to cost sharing.
right.
Well, and I don't know if the ag agency may have some money. I mean, they always tell us they never have any, but they just got 20 million, that innovation
True.
center, and I don't know if any of it could be used for doing innovations on farms or not.
It'd be helpful for me to know what the worst possible scenario could be to the farmer. Like, what's the absolute maximum that they could be looking at in terms if they had to do the driveway, if they had to buy a new milk tank with construction, take the roof and the side down and put all that back, or how much money are they out? And I think from there, you could figure out what might be fair to the others that have already invested in it and aren't going to get anything on it.
Because there's some small farms, certified small farms that aren't organic, that have had to change bulk tanks to get to every other day pickup because the milk companies, weren't gonna send a truck just to get that one farmer's milk.
Right.
And so, we've got that group that will feel maybe offended if we paid the whole bill. And
But for Diane to come up with a number, she must have had an idea of how many bulk tanks we're talking about and how many driveways. So that would sort of help us figure out what the individual would be looking at, maybe.
yeah, see, when I jotted it down when she was here the last time.
Yeah.
And she had, two farms that needed to update their bulk tanks, but, you know, whether she was ballparking that or not, I don't know. And so we'll see, but we gotta come up with some numbers,
This week.
I would hope, because we're getting ready to start peeling numbers in appropriations. Yeah, Chris?
Well, I would like to add to all of that, that right after we heard from the bee farmers the other day, or do we call them bee farmers? Honey producers,
Beekeepers.
beekeepers, thank you. In Senate Finance, we were hearing about the economic development bill that funnels maybe part of the last of the ARPA money to businesses that have been hit by COVID impact. 40 million, I want to say. And I asked, is this 40 million in business assistance hinged to a COVID impact or just sort of business challenges? And it was very clearly COVID impact. So my point is that the state is rolling out millions of dollars for businesses still through COVID relief. But we have other sectors in the ag world that are also facing these challenges, kind of unrelated to their own, not their fault, I guess, right? So by environmental impacts, whether it's Horizon, Jumping Ship, or bee die-offs and stuff. So I guess I would just put down a marker that I hope we can broaden our outlook a little bit. We're not talking about a ton of money, but not only think about the small number of dairy farmers that obviously do need help, but also, try to think about some of the other producers in our ag economy that, I don't have a great sense of where they're at, but I don't think we should only be looking at dairy in this case, because I think a lot of our folks have had a rocky few years in the food production world.
Yeah, we got those names that you sent down, Chris. And did you you've always sent out contact, right?
Yes.
And we're gonna try to get them in Thursday, but if they can't come Thursday, see about Friday. But I'd like to have them come Thursday if we could possibly, if they can arrange their schedule to Zoom in.
That'd be great. I appreciate that. When we did the very first COVID sort of federal relief, we were looking at a ratio of $3 for dairy and $1 for other diversified ag. And, to me, that's kind of the minimum that is appropriate based on their impact on the economy. But so anyway, I appreciate that. We'll hear what they have to say, and maybe they're all doing great. It has been a good time for local food, but I suspect they've also faced a lot of challenges.
Well, I don't know, we haven't had anybody testify if they had the bees checked. They might have come down with COVID, We should.
There you go. I like that. I like that. It's a clear impact.
Well, we do with the autopsies of people. Maybe we should find a bee that and have an autopsy done and yeah. But you did check that, and it has to be COVID related. Boy.
Yeah, that's an ARPA, guidance or whatever. So it's pretty clear. Our hands are tied.
Well,
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the intersection there, Chris. So if a trucking company was impacted negatively by prices of fuel, or, you know, you could make a case for it
Yeah,
having to do with COVID, I think.
well, you couldn't get the drivers. But it was really because fuel prices went through the roof. Restaurant people, you know, it could be they had to close because they couldn't get any help because, you know, they were home supposedly sick with COVID, getting that extra $800 a week on top of their unemployment. You know, there's a lot of circumstances that maybe the beekeepers, maybe some of them had COVID and they couldn't get to their hives and take care of them properly. So, you know, the excuses can be long and twisted and turned and, but anyways.
Well, to me, that's the job for you and the creative accountants in approach. We should try to identify the need and, you know,
Yes.
hope we can find the money.
Well, hopefully Thursday we'll hear from some of those people. Would you send that to 10 or 15 people?
Six. I think six. 8.
8. We sent that invitation out to 8, Chris. So hopefully we'll get some of them in. And the other issue that's coming out of natural resources, you know, the deal on the standing water, pumping water. And having to
Surface water?
Yeah.
5,000 gallons.
You know, we ought to decide whether we should take a look at that bill and see if, you know, how ag's being used in that, because it's gonna really affect I think the berry growers and, that require quite a lot of water, to irrigate their berries and, the small veggie producers and, so, you know, I don't know where you guys are on that, what you think, but
I think we need to bring it in and take a look at it.
I think it would, you know, who was it we had testify? We had somebody, the guy that.
Well, we got a letter from Will Stevens. Right?
Yeah, Will.
I've got a couple farms that I know in my district that pull from Lake Champlain, so
Yeah,
I would.
And what's the threshold? 5,000 gallons? I think,
yeah, and I think Will testified that's a
yeah.
pretty small amount.
There also seemed to be some question about how often they have to report. The farmers only gave their letter, but they felt like they were going to be overburdened by the administration of it, the reporting requirement. And I've run into somebody else who said they only have to report once a year. So I mean, it's one of those things where like you hear different things. I'd like to get an idea as to what it actually means to the farmers time-wise. What they have to do to comply.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want, you know, tie it up for a month, but we ought to have a couple of days that
Yeah.
we could set some people up, well, advertise it, that, you know, that bill's going to be in. And then I think Will and some of these other folks that hopefully we're going to talk to this week can talk to us in regards to that. I don't know if it's the amount of water or if it's reporting or if it's the registration. It's a combo, I think,
Yeah, I
of
think it is too.
quite a few things. Chris?
Yeah, I like the idea of having this conversation. I must say that I hope we, being blind to it seems foolish, given that we, even in soggy Vermont, experience droughts and all that, more and more weird weather. But whatever view we get to just simply identify where this may or may not be happening in the easiest way possible, so that it's not a pain for farmers. I'd like to see some balance there. So anyway, I look forward to the conversation.
Yeah, so I'll speak to Chris about that and if he wants to send it, okay, if he doesn't, I'll ask for it. And I don't know if it's 466 or what number it is, but we'll look that up.
Is it
And,
an H bill, Bobby?
pardon?
Is it an H bill?
Yes.
And what do you think the number is?
I don't know, 466 or 4
Yeah, I
something.
mean, there's big,
466 H.
It is 466. Don't know how I read
Yeah, it's
it.
a natural now, yep. It's been there since February.
Huh?
So it says, read first time referred to Committee on Natural Resources, 2222, February 2nd.
Well, Jesus. He must be really working on that bill.
Well, that was pre-crossover. That'd be just strange if he'd done it already. You wouldn't want him to
Yeah.
hurry it out now, would you?
Well, no, the last day of the session would be the day that I'd want to bring that baby out anyways. Maybe he's got that same thing in mind. No, I think they're supposed to, well, their schedule has it out there, coming out sometime this week. And so I'll chat with Chris about that. Any other issues that anyone wants to bring up?
What did I could think of? Are you getting the same sort of indication that morning committees might have this week and next week and that's it, or have they said anything one way or another? No.
No, but May 5th or 6th has been talked about.
For everything.
Yeah.
Boy, I find that. We haven't
Then I
taken
heard
any of the
another week
money
after
bills
that.
up
June
yet.
30th.
Oh, June.
No.
Throwing that out there.
no,
We'll be
it
here
was-
sometime in June.
It was 5-6, not 6-6.
That's hopeful thinking everything's gonna get signed.
Well,
We
anyway.
might have to come back if there's
Yeah.
a veto or something. But do you
I think that committee that's working on 466 has sent out a lot of bills that have a hard time counting to the end, and I hear there's not a favorable opinion of the budget as the House passed it, so there's work to do.
Yeah, but
I'll take the over on 5-6 myself.
you what?
I'll take the over.
You're gonna go to, did you wanna bet on it? you mean?
Yeah, if we want to bet on it, I'll take the over.
I'll take the second week, 13th, 14th in there somewhere.
Whatever that Saturday night is for the House.
But hopefully, I know Jane's planning on having the budget all done way before that. So, way before, actually, it's in May. In April. She wanted to have that done by next to the last week in April. So, no, we got some heavies, but we've gone through it with the House, and we've gone through most of the written part, the back part of the bill. And we've done a lot of them. We haven't checked it off, the front part, we haven't checked it off yet, section by section, but the back part, we've done quite a bit, and this week will be a busy week in there for that. Well, if you guys want to take a little break for
Sure.
10 minutes, so we've got an appointment for you, so. you-
Okay.
Want to meet back at 11,
Or 10, I'll
10,
find out.
okay.
Yeah.